Welcome to Literary AF Podcast.
Yar, mateys, and welcome to... Wait, are we talking about a pirate book today?
No, there's no pirates.
Oh, darn it. Well, welcome to Literary AF Podcast, a podcast where we talk about books that apparently aren't pirate
Not
books.
this time, no pirates.
Ooh, we could maybe do Treasure Island sometime.
I actually haven't read that, so yeah, we totally could.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, anyway, my name's Sheldon.
I'm Danny.
And we are here today to talk to you about...
I've got a couple different books I've written notes on that I can talk about. Maybe we'll call it like a romance roundup or something.
What about... Because you said two of them are from the same series,
Yes,
right?
they are.
What if we call it... Like, what's that series called?
It's called Twist of Fate.
Ooh, what if this is Twist of Fate, Part 1?
We could do that.
And the other one can just be like a bonus feature.
Bonus? Because it's not going to be very long. Like, none of these are going to be very long, so...
Well, tell me, what is Twist of Fate and what is it about?
Twist of Fate is a romance series, because that's what I read more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 books so far. I've only read the first 2.
Okay.
And there's a 4th one coming out, but it's currently untitled. The books are called Lost and Found, Safe and Sound, and Body and Soul.
Oh, darn it. I was hoping they'd keep rhyming.
Yeah, that last one's a little bit of a change, but they're written by Lucy Lennox and Sloane Kennedy,
Okay.
and those are both like prolific romance authors.
Ooh.
These are contemporary romances, so they're set in modern times.
Okay.
And the first of which is first of which is Lost and Found. I keep getting the titles mixed up all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm actually just going to read the Goodreads description of the book just to like save time, and it'll put things into words better than I can.
Okay.
Wilderness guide Xander Reed has spent 15 years forgetting the night he turned to his best friend in his darkest hour, only to find the young man who'd sworn to always have his back was turning his on Xander instead.
Wait 1 second. Because we normally do, or the last few have been like supernatural romance.
Right.
Does this have supernatural elements to it?
No, this is 2 normal dudes.
Okay, because just from the very start of it, I was like waiting for one of them to turn to a werewolf, so I'm glad we clarified that up top.
No werewolves, no vampires.
All right,
No.
okay, continue.
Just some normal dudes. 2,000 miles and 15 years of building a new life in the quiet backcountry of the Rocky Mountains should have been enough to put the memory of Bennett Crawford out of his mind forever. But old wounds run deep, and when Bennett suddenly reappears in his life as part of a wilderness expedition Xander is guiding, the scars he thought long healed break wide open. As the only son of the wealthiest families in New England, he should have had the world at his feet, but losing his best friend at the tender age of 14 changed everything. Even though Bennett managed to hide behind the mask of contentment as he takes his place at his father's side in the family business, inside he's searching for the piece of himself that's been missing ever since Xander Reed walked out of his life. Bennett's only saving grace is his work with the group of inner-city kids, and when he's given the chance to show the troubled teens that there's a bigger world out there waiting for them if they just have the courage to reach for it, he takes it. But when he steps off the bus for what was supposed to be a week of fun and adventure, he's instantly returned to the past when he discovers the expedition guide is none other than the boy he let go so long ago. Only the soft-hearted, insecure little boy Bennett once knew is gone, and in his place is a brooding, bitter man who isn't interested in second chances. So that's the Goodreads description.
Ooh.
So it's like a second chance romance.
Okay.
Between these guys who were old friends once upon a time. And the book opens with Bennett getting off of a bus. He's like, this is going to be fun. It's a week of camping. And this big, angry wilderness guide is immediately like angry at him. And he's not...
You're a man.
he's not a pirate.
Well, that ruins my immersion a little bit.
So Bennett immediately is trying to make things right with Xander.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause 15 years ago, Xander's father died. You kind of learn like bits and pieces of this throughout the story, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail.
Okay.
But Xander's father died like 15 years ago. And when he was extremely upset, he went to Bennett for, my dad just died, please comfort me kind of thing. But Bennett was hanging out with a group of cool kids, and he was like, yeah, no, not right now.
A group of cools.
He was hanging out with the cool kids, and he kind of turned Xander away. And immediately following after that incident, Xander basically leaves town, and they never see each other again.
Okay.
So there's been 15 years of, I messed this up really bad, I wish I could take it back, he was my best friend. So Bennett's trying to, bridge the gap between them, and Xander basically wants nothing to do with it, because this guy was a dick 15 years ago.
Okay.
And they're basically stuck in close proximity with each other for a week. So, there's a couple of side characters who pop up in this book, who actually have books later down the line. There's a character named Aiden, who is Bennett's best friend, who is accompanying them on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of sees that there's, some kind of spark between Xander and Bennett, so he's constantly going out there and saying, things that could be easily misconstrued that make Xander, super jealous, which I thought was kind of funny. There's, some amusing scenes there. He actually comes up in the next book. The next book's about him. One thing it's not that I didn't like this about the book, but it got kind of irritating after a while.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of the issues between the characters is just communication.
Oh, yeah. That's a major takeoff for me in, books or movies when, the problems could be solved by, if they just sat down and had a conversation.
Yeah. These two characters are about 30 years old, and they have a lot of arguments, and a lot of it could have been fixed by just talking about it properly.
Yeah.
So that kind of got to me after a while, but I did really like this book.
Okay. Yeah, what are some of the things you really liked about it?
It's very... It has moments that are very, I guess, almost cinematic, the way they played out.
Okay.
It's very light. There's not a whole lot of drama going on, aside from two characters being mad at each other all the time.
Yeah.
So it was a refreshing read. I listened to this between Eclipse and Breaking Dawn.
Oh, okay.
So it was a really nice change to go from from Eclipse into this. And I like the characters.
That's almost unfair because the bar is set so low after reading a Twilight book that anything is good after.
Yeah, I guess. But
the phone book is compelling after sitting through Eclipse.
Oh, yeah. This, though, I feel even if it hadn't come after Twilight, I still would have really liked. I just like the characters. Neither of them were perfect.
Yeah.
They were both relatable in their own ways. Bennett's trying to fix this mistake he made, but he has problems, I guess, talking to Xander. And Xander is having problems moving past this grudge that he's been hanging on to for 15 years. But it was good. Okay. And as with all romance books, you kind of know what you're getting into. There's a romance, a happily ever after.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a discussion we should have at some point.
About what?
Romance is not... You can't have a romance without a happily ever after.
That's not true.
That's actually as defined by the Romance Writers Association. It has to have...
What about tragic romance?
That's not a romance.
So Romeo and Juliet wouldn't qualify as romance?
Nicholas Sparks also not a romance. Nicholas Sparks actually gets mad if you call his books romance. So...
That's bogus.
Nope. What is it? The book has to be about two characters and their relationship. It has to... Actually, if you want to... I can look up what the actual definition is for romance here. So, according to the RWA, the Romance Writers Association of America, The definition of a romance has two basic elements: a central love story. The main plot centers around individuals falling in love and struggling to make the relationship work. A writer can include as many subplots as he or she wants, as long as the love story is the main focus of the novel. And it must include an emotionally satisfying and optimistic ending. In a romance, the lovers who risk and struggle for each other and their relationships are rewarded with emotional justice and unconditional love. That's the definition of a romance novel. And I like it because I know what I'm getting into. And if I were to put like time and effort into a book just to have a Nicholas Sparks ending and then make me cry, I would not enjoy that book at all. I would give it 1 star and then I'd never pick it up again.
Oh no, see, if I know what I'm getting into, if I know what the ending's going to be when I start the book, I almost feel like, why read it?
No, see, I'm the kind of person who flips to the back of the book.
Oh, never.
And will read the last couple pages.
I flip to the back of the book to see how many page numbers there are, and then like desperately try not to see a single word on the page.
Nope, I need to know. I need to know if it's worth putting my time into. Yeah, I forget where I was going with this, but that's the definition of a romance book.
Oh, that's...
Nicholas Sparks is like it's a drama. It's just fiction.
Yeah, but I think if it's a drama where it's still the primary focus is romance, it should still qualify as a romance book.
But a romance is about having, like the thing said, an optimistic ending, which I would totally agree with. Like rom-coms and stuff like that. They always have like the romantic ending.
Yeah, but I think that's like, by restricting the genre to like such strict forms, you're like hurting the artistic value of the genre, because you're saying like it has to conform to this exact thing to count. And then like books that are like, like Gone with the Wind, that's not like a happy ending.
That's not a romance.
But it so is though.
It's not though. I would say Gone with the Wind is so much more than just a romance.
Yeah, but that's the problem though, is saying that it's more than a romance then makes
Gone with the Wind is a drama.
Romance.
It's a drama. An epic Civil War drama.
Okay. About a romance.
It's a drama about a romance, but it is not a romantic movie. Or book, what have you.
That's so lame. All right, what was the other book you read?
The other book is Safe and Sound.
Okay.
Which I will also read the definition for off of Goodreads. Let me just pull it over here real quick. I changed the page. All right. Self-proclaimed playboy Aidan Vale has it all. Good looks, a successful career, plenty of cash, and an endless supply of men who know the score. That one night is just that. So the last thing he wants or needs is to forge a connection that might mean revealing more of himself than he's ready to. But when fate intervenes, putting Aidan in the path of someone who threatens to knock down his carefully constructed walls, he's quick to realize the young man he's become infatuated with is hiding a painful secret. Ash Valentine is looking for a way out, and the last thing he wants or needs is another man controlling every aspect of his life. Desperate for cash that will help him flee his abusive boyfriend, Ash accepts what is supposed to be a temporary job at a local coffee shop. Nothing prepares him for the gorgeous and enigmatic Aidan Vale, but the small acts of kindness the charming coffee shop regular bestows on him, or the new friends he begins to make along the way. Wait, that seems like an incomplete sentence. Whatever. Terrified of once again becoming too reliant on someone else to take care of him, Ash refuses Aidan's repeated offers of help in any form. But when it becomes clear that there's something more behind Aidan's need to save him, Ash begins to wonder if he's found someone who needs saving just as badly. So that's that one. And so this one, I didn't like this one as much as the one that came before.
Mm-hmm.
I did like it. But this one was a lot darker. There was a lot more abuse and drama and stuff going on in there. Whereas the first book was mostly just about repairing a relationship.
Oh, okay.
This one was about Ash trying to get away from his extremely abusive boyfriend who has taken all of his money and all of his stuff, and he's got nowhere to go. So he takes this secret job in this coffee shop his boyfriend is out of town on a business trip. So he's trying to earn enough money to get out before his boyfriend comes back. The book opens on Aiden, he was in the last book. I mentioned it before. He finds a lost journal on a coffee shop table, and it has the same initials. And he picks it up because it's lost and abandoned, and he intends to turn it into the Lost and Found.
Mm-hmm.
But he starts to flip through it, and it's like super... It's dramatic poetry and songs and art and stuff like that. And it really... It touches him on a personal level, and he ends up keeping the journal.
Mm-hmm.
And the man the journal belongs to is Ash, the guy who started at the coffee shop. But this actually doesn't come back in until later. He just thinks, oh, I lost my journal. This sucks. So I expected that to be a bigger part of this than it actually ended up being.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this book was a bit dramatic. I really liked it nonetheless. There's... The abuser in the book doesn't get quite as satisfying of an end as you would want.
Oh, okay.
Like you'd want him to be arrested and locked up and put away for being awful. But you don't get quite that ending. Maybe they'll mention it in a later book down the line. But I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
These characters were good too, but because they were a little more dramatic than the last book, it was not as fun of a read.
Okay.
It was heavy for something to be listening to for like 6 hours a day. These books are kind of short, at least compared to the Twilight books that I was listening to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
These are about 9 hours apiece. Whereas I think Breaking Dawn was closer to 20.
Oh, wow.
So it's a good read. I'd recommend the first one over this one, just for the lightheartedness of it. Now that I've talked about both books,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about one of my favorite scenes.
Okay, sure.
So it's not as spoilery, I guess. It could be either book kind of thing.
Sure.
But there's a scene where there's like a misunderstanding, as there are in romantic books and movies.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the characters does this super over the top, I'm going to tell you that I love you. I show up on your doorstep at 2:00 in the morning. I'm crying. It's raining. And I'm going to confess my whole heart to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. Because it was just classic, like, romance movie kind of thing for me. And I haven't been getting a lot of that in these romance books I've been reading lately.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of caught me off guard that it was just this over-the-top huge scene. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. So that's kind of it for that one. How are we doing for
We're
time?
at 19 minutes. So
Okay.
You said there was one other one that you read.
There's one
pretty
more
quick?
book that I can talk about. Yeah, it's not going to be super long. Did you have any questions about the first two before I jump track to a different book?
No, I think I got a good sense of kind of what's going on in the book. You talked about your favorite part. And
Yeah.
Is there your favorite character from the book so far?
It's hard to just pick one character because they all have like their own ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
They're all unique. They don't have, like, a lot of books end up having like the same tropes across heroes, you know.
Yeah.
They all felt like their own character, which is nice.
Hmm.
I'm definitely gonna get to the next book. Maybe not right away, but eventually. 'Cause I'm working on a bunch of other stuff right now. So.
And that's the one about pirates, right?
There's no pirates. I believe this one is about a runway model who wants to get into fashion design or something like that. I don't remember.
If he was running a runway model that was getting into walking the plank, I think that'd be really cool.
Well, if there's pirates in it, will let you know for sure.
Thank you.
So the last book, this one, I just picked up on a whim. I keep seeing it like advertised and talked about on Twitter, so
Okay.
I had a credit on Audible that I just used for this. And
This episode's sponsored by Audible.
I wish.
Audible.com. Type in the code.
By the
Sheldon
way,
is cool. What's that?
if you are interested in getting Audible, Audible.com way better than Audible.ca, at least for me.
So if you're a Canadian listener, don't use the Canadian version of the site because apparently it's bad.
It's not as good as the American version of the site.
Is it like Netflix where they don't have as many options?
It's not that. It's Audible.com. This is more for me than for you, but it has a romance package.
Okay.
That's an extra like $7 or something. And it just lets you listen to the entire romance category that they have set aside. It's not all the romance books on the site, but it's a big chunk of them.
Oh.
So it's like Netflix, where you can listen to something, you can listen to something else, you can listen to something else, and it's not gonna limit you. Whereas actual Audible is like, you get 1 credit per month to spend on an audiobook. And if you want any more than that, you gotta pay money for them. So,
but you have to pay for the romance package?
The romance package is $7.
A month or?
A month.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. If you listen to a lot of romance like I do, it's maybe the better route to go.
And if you are a representative of Audible.com, hook us up with a sponsorship because we will promote the heck out of you.
All right. So this last one is called Rafe.
Okay.
By Rebekah Weatherspoon.
Ooh.
All Dr. Sloane Copeland needed was someone to watch her kids. What she found was the man of her dreams. After a nasty divorce and a 1,000-mile move, Dr. Sloane Copeland and her twin daughters are finally getting the hang of their new life in Los Angeles. When their live-in nanny bails with no warning, Sloane is left scrambling to find a competent caretaker to wrangle her smart, sensitive girls. Nothing less will do. Enter Rafe Whitcomb. He's all of those things, not to mention good-natured, one heck of a whiz in the kitchen. He's also tall and handsome and bearded and ripped and tatted wrist to neck. All those are how it's ordered on Google or Goodreads. It doesn't take long for the Copelands to invite Rafe into their home. Just as quickly, both Sloane and Rafe find themselves succumbing to a heady mutual attraction neither of them wants to deny. With every minute they spend under the same roof, this working mom can't help but wonder if Rafe can handle all her needs. This book was fun.
Okay.
It was relatively drama-free. It was 6 hours long, so it's even shorter than the other ones.
Okay.
I listened to it in a day. And it was fluffy.
Okay.
It was just easy listening. I kept expecting there to be like a big dramatic moment. Somebody makes a mistake and they fight, or something happens to one of them and there's just something bad to happen along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't. Not really. There's a couple moments where there's like, oh no, but it's over like immediately.
Oh, okay.
So it was just so light.
Yeah.
And happy. It was just a good time.
Okay.
There's not much to say about it. I definitely recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are good. The doctor's super smart, super pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I think she graduated university a couple years early, so she's the young, new, hot doctor.
So she's very young and very single.
Yes. And Rafe is this extremely attractive male nanny, which I guess is the whole draw of it. You just want this hot man caretaker.
I just picture like Fran Drescher as the nanny, but like with big muscles.
But big muscles.
And
Give
I
her
gotta
a
say, I
beard.
understand the appeal.
Yeah, so like I said, there wasn't much to talk about with that. It's super quick. It's just fun. It's a good time.
Cool. Is it funny, would you say?
Yeah, it's got its moments, for sure.
Okay. Does it pass the 6 laugh test?
The 6 laugh test, what's that?
So, for anything to be described as a comedy, You have to laugh at least 6 times during it.
Oh, I didn't.
It's a movie thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I wouldn't say it passes the 6 laugh test because it's only 6 hours long.
That would be a laugh an hour, a single laugh an hour.
A singular laugh an hour. Yeah, but the thing with audiobooks is for example, Breaking Dawn is like a 20-hour audiobook.
Yeah.
But it's only like 500 pages.
Yeah, it's true. People reading out loud is not as fast as reading in your head.
It's a lot slower, yeah.
But also also comedy in book form is never quite the same. Like there's very few books that are like very funny.
Yes.
So yeah, it's hard to judge, but
yeah, it wouldn't pass the 6 laugh test.
Did it pass the Bechdel test?
What's that?
Were there more than 2 female characters who talked about anything other than a man at one point?
Yeah.
Oh, so it is feminist approved, but is not comedian approved.
Yeah, Sloane's got like a group of girlfriends that they all have like a group chat going on, and actually, there's like references that all of the books I've been reading lately are from like the early aughts, except for this book.
Okay.
So when she made references to like certain GIFs or emojis and stuff, like it caught me right off guard. I was just not expecting that to be in a book where she's like, I sent a nope GIF off to my group chat or whatever. That made me laugh. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we are approaching our normal time.
Yeah.
Where can people find us?
Find us on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube at Literary AF.
We are also on Facebook.
Yes. I keep forgetting Facebook. We're on Facebook.
And email.
Email is literaryafpod@gmail.com.
I love saying we're on email I'm
email.
a 60-year-old who doesn't know how technology works. We have a Twitter that's run by Danni.
Yeah, I've basically commandeered it as my own Twitter at this point.
Yeah.
LiteraryAFPod on Twitter.
I have an Instagram. You can follow me on there.
Okay.
But I won't tell you the handle, so you have to guess.
It's a treasure hunt.
We are also on... Are we on anything else?
I think we covered it.
You can also follow us on the street. If you find out where we live, just hide in the bushes and watch us with binoculars. We are okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
Danni said she actually really enjoyed that. All right, well, thanks for listening.
Alrighty.
And tune in next week when we finally get around to a book about pirates. Actually, I have no idea what we're doing, but check us out anyway.
I can try to find something about pirates if that's what you're really, really hankering for.
There is a good chance I won't remember anything about pirates in like 10 minutes. So let's not worry about it.
All right.
All right, peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Have a Merry Christmas.